Welcome back to our English conversation lesson. Today, Anna and John talk about how to talk about the future in English using the future tense. Let's dive right in.
Hey, John. How are you today?
Hey, Anna. I'm good, thanks. How about you?
I'm great. I've been thinking a lot about how we talk about the future in English.
Oh, that's an interesting topic. I've been learning about the future tense lately. It can be a little tricky.
Yeah, there are so many ways to talk about the future. Do you know the different ways we can use the future tense?
I know a few. We can use will, going to, and even the present continuous sometimes.
Right. The future tense can be expressed in different ways depending on the situation. Let's start with the most common one, using will.
Sure, we use will to talk about something we're certain will happen in the future, right?
Exactly. Like, I will go to the store tomorrow. It's a simple statement about something you plan or expect to do.
So it's like making a promise or stating a fact about the future?
Yep, but we can also use will for spontaneous decisions. Like, if I suddenly decide to go to the store, I could say, I will go to the store now.
Ah, I see. What about going to? How's that different?
Going to is used when we have a plan or intention. For example, I am going to study English this evening. It's something you've already decided to do.
That makes sense. So will is more for decisions made in the moment, and going to is for things planned ahead of time.
Exactly. And then we have the present continuous, which we use for future plans too.
Wait, how do we use the present continuous for future actions?
Well, it's used when you've already made arrangements or have something scheduled, like, I am meeting my friend later. It's a fixed plan.
Oh, so it's more about things already set in stone, like meetings or appointments.
Exactly. It's a bit more definite.
Got it. So will for spontaneous decisions, going to for plans, and present continuous for fixed arrangements.
Yes, you're on fire, John, but there's still one more way to talk about the future.
Oh, what's that?
We can use the simple present tense for scheduled events, like train times or official events. For example, the train leaves at 5 p.m.
So it's not technically a future tense, but it's used for scheduled events.
Exactly. It's a great way to talk about things that are already on a schedule.
That makes sense. So there are a lot of ways to talk about the future in English, depending on the situation.
Yes. And remember, it's all about the context. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to choose the right form.
This is really helpful. But how do we know when to use each one?
Good question. It really comes down to how certain you are about the future action.
Oh, like if I'm 100% sure I'll do something, I'd use will.
Exactly. Will shows certainty. But if you've already made plans, you would use going to or the present continuous.
So if I say, I will visit my grandparents, that means I'm sure about it.
Yes, that's a perfect example. But if you had already talked to them about visiting, you might say, I'm going to visit my grandparents.
Right, because I've made the plan already.
Exactly. And if you had a specific time arranged, you could say, I'm visiting my grandparents on Saturday.
Oh, so the present continuous is for when it's scheduled.
Yep. And if you want to talk about something that's scheduled in the future, you can use the present simple.
Like the meeting starts at 3 p.m.?
Exactly. And you can use it for events like concerts, flights, and appointments.
That's so cool. I didn't realize there were so many ways to talk about the future.
Yeah, English has a lot of flexibility when it comes to tenses. The more you practice, the easier it gets to choose the right one.
This is really helpful. But how do we know when to use each one?
Good question. It really comes down to how certain you are about the future action.
Oh, like if I'm 100% sure I'll do something, I'd use will.
Exactly. Will shows certainty. But if you've already made plans, you would use going to or the present continuous.
So if I say, I will visit my grandparents, that means I'm sure about it.
Yes, that's a perfect example. But if you had already talked to them about visiting, you might say, I'm going to visit my grandparents.
Right, because I've made the plan already.
Exactly. And if you had a specific time arranged, you could say, I'm visiting my grandparents on Saturday.
Oh, so the present continuous is for when it's scheduled.
Yep, And if you want to talk about something that's scheduled in the future, you can use the present simple.
Like the meeting starts at 3 p.m.?
Exactly. And you can use it for events like concerts, flights, and appointments.
That's so cool. I didn't realize there were so many ways to talk about the future.
Yeah, English has a lot of flexibility when it comes to tenses. The more you practice, the easier it gets to choose the right one.
This is starting to make a lot of sense now. It's all about combining the right tense with time expressions.
Exactly. Time expressions help you give more information about when something will happen.
So if I say, I will call you tomorrow, I'm using tomorrow to give context to when it will happen.
Exactly. And you can also use time expressions like next week or in 2 months to make it clearer. For example, I will go on vacation in 2 months.
Ah, okay. So we use in for longer periods like months or years, and on for specific days like on Monday.
Right. And don't forget at for exact times like I will meet you at 5 p.m.
Got it. So in is for broader time periods, on is for specific days, and at is for exact times.
Yes, exactly. And another time expression that's useful is by, which refers to the latest possible time for something to happen. Like, I will finish the project by Friday.
So by is for deadlines, like when something must be completed.
Yep, it gives a sense of urgency.
This is really helpful. I'm feeling more confident about using time expressions now.
I'm glad to hear that. Time expressions really help you make your future plans sound clear and specific.
Okay, so we've covered time expressions. But what about making predictions? How do we talk about future events that we think will happen?
Great question. For predictions, we often use will. For example, it will rain tomorrow.
Oh, so when we're guessing about what's going to happen, we use will.
Exactly. Will is used for predictions we're quite sure about, like the sun will rise tomorrow.
What about predictions based on something we see happening right now?
Good point. For those, we often use going to. For example, look at those clouds, it's going to rain soon.
Ah, so going to is for predictions based on evidence, like something we can see or hear.
Exactly. It's like you're predicting the future based on signs you notice in the present.
That makes sense. So for general predictions, we use will, and for predictions based on evidence, we use going to.
Yep, and sometimes we can use might, may, or could when we're not so sure about a prediction. For example, it might rain later.
Ah, so those words show uncertainty, like we're not 100% sure.
Exactly. They express a possibility but not a definite event.
Got it. So will for certainty, going to for evidence-based predictions, and might, may, or could for uncertainty.
Yep, you're getting the hang of it. Predictions can really vary depending on how sure you are.
This is really starting to make sense, Anna. I feel more confident about talking about the future now.
I'm glad to hear that, John. The key is practicing and using these different future tenses in different situations.
So, to recap, we've learned that we use will for general predictions and spontaneous decisions, going to for planned actions, and might, may, or could when we're uncertain.
Exactly. And don't forget the time expressions, which help give more context to when something will happen.
Oh, right. Time expressions like tomorrow, next week, and in 2 months really help us specify when something will happen.
Exactly. And using the present simple for scheduled events, like the train leaves at 7 a.m., is also really helpful.
Wow, there's so much to remember, but it's really interesting. I think with a bit more practice, I'll get the hang of it.
I'm sure you will, John. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Just keep using what we talked about today in your conversations.
Thanks so much for all your help, Anna. I feel ready to use the future tense in any situation now.
You're welcome. Keep practicing, and soon you'll be using the future tense like a pro.